Hello students, welcome you all. Let's start with third term and the topic is chapter number 8, B. Wordsworth, written by V.S. Naipaul. So first of all, about the poet. The name of the poet is V.S. Naipaul, who was born in Trinidad in 1932. He began to write short stories and novels in England in 1954. Between 1950 and 1960, he published quite a few novels, many of which received literary awards. Among the best known of these are Miguel Street, from which this story comes, A House for Mr. Biswas, The Mimic Man, and In a Free State. So now, the story in short, this story is about a conflict between a poet's world and the real world. The author has put himself in the center from where he views both sides of the world. The story begins out the fact that a child is very malleable to any idea if it can be put in a manner that appeals to his imagination. The story is set in Port of Spain, the capital of Trinidad and Tobago. So in the beginning you'll come to know about children, two contrasting characters. Then after that you'll come to know the growing friendship between the boy and B. Wordsworth, and after that the gravity of the relationship and B. Wordsworth's endeavor of writing the greatest poem in the world. Then in the end you'll come to know the end of relationship between the poet and the boy. Okay children, now that's the plot summary. So B. Wordsworth is a short story written by V.S. Naipaul in 1959. The narrator tells the story of his relationship with the poet named B. Wordsworth when he was a little boy. The story starts with the description of beggars visiting houses, trying to earn some money or alms in the kind houses of Miguel Street. A tidily dressed man knocks on a house where a little narrator lives with his mother. When the narrator asks the reason, the man replies that he wants to see the bees in their compound. The narrator runs upstairs and tells his mother that a man wants to see the bees. His mother comes and asks the man in an unfriendly manner about what he actually wants. The man again says that he wants to see the bees. The man's English is so good that the mother suspects him, but nevertheless she agrees to let him in the yard. The boy, who's narrator, and the man watch the bees together. The man says that he likes watching the bees and asks the kid if he likes it as well. The kid replies that he never has the time to. The man shakes his head sadly and says that's what he does. He watches. The boy, quizzical about the peculiar manner, asks various questions. The man introduces himself as Black Wordsworth. He then says that he can watch a flower like the morning glory and cry. The kid asks what he cries for. B. Wordsworth replies, when you are a poet, you can cry for everything. After this, B. Wordsworth asks the child if he likes his mother. The kid says, only when she is not beating him. Wordsworth pulls out a printed paper from his pocket. He tells the kid that on this paper, the greatest poem about mothers is written and he would sell it to him for 4 cents if he likes. The kid rushes up to his mother to ask if she would buy it, but his mother declines. The kid goes back to the man and tells him that his mother does not have 4 cents. Wordsworth isn't bothered by this. The kid asks why he goes around like this and whether he is able to earn enough this way. Wordsworth says that this way he meets new people. He also expects to meet new poets, but not a single copy has been sold till now. After Wordsworth leaves, the kid wishes that they meet again. After 1 week, while the boy is returning from school, they run into each other. Wordsworth admits that he too was hoping to see him again. He tells the kid that he has the best mango trees in his yard and wants to invite him to eat them. He lives in Alberto Street in a one-room hut. After the kid has enough mangoes, he returns home. His mother goes berserk upon seeing his shirt stained with yellow juice. His mother beats him badly that day. In anger, the kid leaves home screaming he will never come back. He goes to Wordsworth's place. Seeing the boy's bleeding nose, Wordsworth consoles him and suggests that if he stops crying, they will go for a walk. They go for a walk down to Swana and walks to the race course. They lie on the green grass. Wordsworth asks the kid to look up at the stars and think how far they are from them. The kid does so. Never in his life had he felt so great, yet nothing. After this, some light flashes on their faces. A policeman comes up to them, asking what they are doing. Wordsworth replies that he has been asking the same question to himself for 40 years. Wordsworth makes the kid promise that he would never tell anyone about him or the mango trees. The boy keeps his promises. One day, the boy goes to meet B. Wordsworth and sees him lying on his sofa, severely ill. Death is written clear on his face. Heartbroken, the boy goes up to him. Wordsworth sits up, placing the boy on his knees, and says that he is going to tell a joke. Then B. Wordsworth says that everything he has ever told the boy about himself was a lie. He also makes the kid promise that he will never come back again. Then the kid leaves. After 1 year, children, while the boy was crossing the same street, there was no sign of Wordsworth's one-room hut or his trees. It was as if Wordsworth had never existed. So children, in the end, we come to know about the end of the relationship between the poet and the boy. We come to know about the reality of the life. And the story, it ends with the fact that though B. Wordsworth was very important to the boy, a man like him had no significance in the real world. Thank you.